We're back. It's Sunday, and in a weekend that can only be described as, for fuck's sake, I can't resist it. I really can't. 2 managers sacked, a whole lot of fireworks in boardrooms, and you know something? A whole lot of football therapy upcoming for the next hour. And whereas I started the weekend feeling it was going to be my footballing therapy as a Blue, I've got 2 Reds with me who need a whole lot of footballing therapy because their poor old team has actually lost their first game in 26 games. So, just rationally think about that before I introduce Charlie and Stephen. 26 games it could have been today. And you know something? What a great game to watch today. And Stephen's just left the building. So there you go. He's just lingering on that button before he's just like, I'm gonna make you squirm. See if I've got home. 26 games. 26 games for Liverpool. If they'd have not been beaten today, 26 games in all competitions would have beaten Shankly, Paisley, Dalglish, the whole lot of it. And I've got to say, what an amazing start that was. And I heard it on the radio, and I just thought, do you know, that is just such a. It's the epitome of where Liverpool are at the minute. And then Moyes came and did you. And he did, yeah. and he did a Moisey. He did a Moisey on you. It was just, there's no other way to describe it.
Yeah, I can't use the expletives for him. He might have lost the ginger and gone to great. Bleep, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
He's done a number on us today. That's his first defeat of Klopp, by the way. It's the first time.
Yeah, and it was well deserved. Do you know something, guys? I want to start with something else tonight. I know we talk about Liverpool an awful lot. We talk about United. We occasionally talk about Everton as well. I've got to say, this weekend is completely overshadowed. We've got an international break next weekend, so obviously we won't be talking football next week because it's all international stuff, and we'll all be watching Strictly Come Dancing and all that malarkey. Not.
We'll be watching the grass grow in the garden.
I know, yeah, because it's better watching Harry Kane play for England. I'm going to start with a rant, and I know you love me having a rant, guys. And I know people watching usually enjoy me having a rant, but we've nurtured Norwich, haven't we? We've had this real soft spot for what Norwich is trying to do, remaining true to themselves. They get relegated, they come back from the Championship, they come back into the Premier League, and then you win your first game of the season, and then you sack your manager. What's that all about? Somebody tell me what on earth that is all about. It's just like momentum. Oh, we've just built it. 90 minutes, momentum. We've won 3 points. Bang, you're sacked. Don't know. I really don't know. And as I said in the intro, for fuck's sake, poor old Daniel Farke. What's he to do? I really don't know. And I shrugged my shoulders because it's just like it's scandalous.
Just on that one, John, because when I see that, I was shocked. I thought you've had all these defeats, sack them, and then you wait for them to win. It's like, it doesn't make sense. It's like, they've surely farked up, haven't they, really, with that one, I think.
Yeah, I see what you did there. We're going to just list them. So anyone who's playing bingo at home, how many different? Do you know something? That was a real surprise to me today, because even watching Match of the Day last night, certainly Shearer and Lineker came out with a line and just said he's got enough in the bank to ensure that he doesn't get the sack. And then I think it was about midday today, and Villa came out and said that they'd sacked Dean Smith, and I'm just like, what are you guys about? Yourselves.
Well, Norwich just extended his contract in July too for 4 years. Right?
Yeah.
So now they have to pay him 4 years as well.
Pretty much.
Pay his contract.
Pretty much.
Yeah. They have to pay him all.
I could work for a company like that, but I
Going
can't
to
find
the school of
I can't
Chelsea, I
find-
guess.
I can't find anyone to employ me on those rates. The worst thing of all with that, and I think this is the small-minded part of it, right? So Villa have banked close to £100 million in the summer and sold Jack Grealish, who previously, I know last season we'd already pointed out when Grealish didn't play for Villa, Villa didn't play particularly well, right? So we saw that, we can understand that.
Yeah.
So then you sell him, you give him a little bit of money to spend, and I don't think it's. I can't even figure that it's been spent badly. But you're 11 games into the season. They've lost 5 in a row. I can understand getting a bit twitchy like that, but I would also put in the fact that I felt he had the dressing room, and I felt he had the means to take it further, and they just pressed the big Sam button.
Yep.
So,
yeah, I don't get it. And then
I don't.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer still got his job. Heading straight to Liverpool Hall of Fame. I don't.
You got to think it was in the works. It was in the works for a couple of weeks probably, and you wonder if it's something that maybe they're going to go after Sosa, the guy from Tottenham, who just got sacked last week. Maybe they're going to go after him. Hey.
Yeah, I tell you, you could be right, couldn't you? Do you know? I hadn't even thought of that, because if he's been at Wolves before, he's obviously settled in that particular part of England. But I'm looking at this, right, and I'm thinking this. My biggest thing tonight is I want to be completely objective, right? I don't want to take the mick out of Liverpool losing, because I don't think that that's appropriate for our show. But I want to be really objective, because I actually want to find out. It's just like there's football teams there that just seem to, they've seen this international break coming, and they've taken stock, which used to happen in mid-October, didn't it? This is an extra mid sort of season international break, and it's just like, well, let's just press the panic button. Then we've got Christmas coming up with all the fixtures that come through December, and then we've got the transfer window coming. I think Villa and Norwich. Norwich's actual line of past 5 results: two draws, 2 losses, and a win. And I look at my team, who was sitting in 11th with 2 draws and 3 losses. So on that same principle, Rafa should be out, and you should be just sort of sacking and just ignoring everything that you're trying to do as a team. Brentford have lost 4 in a row, but I think from a fantasy football bit, we mentioned their goalkeeper got injured, and I think that's their weakest link. But Watford have won 1 in 5. So where do we go, guys? Do we go on this just sort of higher of fire, and then just sort of see where the cesspit kind of ends up?
Yeah. Because
where did Norwich go knocking for a manager? Where did Villa go knocking for a manager? And I'm not quite sure. I'm at a loss. I really am. And I've talked.
The question, isn't it? Who are they getting in? They've got to have
exactly.
Who do they get in? Because Daniel Farke knows the club. He knows he gets the players playing well. He's had the tough start of the season. He gets his first win, then he gets sold. He's gone. The guy must be sitting there thinking, well, what do you need to do to keep hold of your job? I finally got them to win a game. Could they have not just waited a little bit longer? So, like you say, pressing that panic button. Villa's a little bit different scenario there. But with Norwich, I just don't get it. They finally turned the corner, and then they've gone, right, no, you're gone. But Daniel Farke would have been the right man. Say they do get relegated, Daniel Farke would have been the man to get them straight back up again. So for me, if that was the whole thing of, get in and maintain it, and then they know that Daniel Farke and what he is, they should have just changed the manager in the summer, and then got someone in
Yeah, that's what doesn't make sense. They should have just did it in the summer. I can understand maybe because he brings them up, and they go back down. He brings them up, he goes back down, and maybe they were just sick of that. But then you don't extend them in July when
seems really odd, doesn't it? I really do. I really do feel more than anything else. I feel this is one sacking that you really feel sorry for the manager. Yeah. Because they're all, they're 5 points away from being safe. So two wins away from being out the bottom 3. So they played it. I'm now desperately trying to get their fixtures up for the next 2 games. Their next game is against Southampton at home, and then they play Wolves, and then they play Newcastle.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've got that momentum, then surely over those 3 games, Daniel Farke would have had a chance. And or maybe there's something bigger. Maybe there's something bigger that Norwich have seen, and they've just decided, well, yeah, after this game, there's a little bit of time. I don't know. I don't know enough about Norwich, but who did they get in? And again, we've had a conversation. Former players always appear very highly, and Mr. Steve Bruce, who used to play for Norwich, is available. So,
yeah. To be honest with you, there was a lot of people linked with the Aston Villa today, and Steven Gerrard's name come up.
Yeah,
yeah. So I don't know whether Steven Gerrard would look at that and say, it might be a good place to go and get some experience in the Premier League, because we all know doing well up in the Scottish leagues doesn't necessarily mean you're going to do well down here.
Yeah.
Martin O'Neill, a great example. Do you know what I mean? He done all right at Leicester, but he didn't set the world alight. But yet he just won title after title with Celtic when he was there.
Yeah. I think an interesting aside there, Stephen, and I think this is maybe worth people sort of considering just in the background. And we mentioned it towards the end of last season. At Villa, John Terry left. And after he left, there was another couple of coaches, like fitness coach and set play coach. So the couple of other coaches left at the same time, or 2 or 3 weeks after. Now, Dean Smith brought in Craig Shakespeare as assistant, stuff like that. I feel that this has got a little bit of John Terry written all over it. And I wonder whether Terry, having worked with the players previously and having obviously had a really good season last season, is he, don't know this for certain, is he sort of pulling the strings in the background? And no idea, but I think
that'd be a risk to go down the route of Terry, do you think? Because he's got coaching experience, but he hasn't got managerial experience.
No, but Villa are going to take, but Gerrard hasn't. And I go back to what you said. I know he's at Rangers, but I wouldn't. You go from Rangers having had a year where you won a league where it was a one-horse race. And this season, it's not quite so much so because Hibs and Hearts are sort of closing in fast. It's not quite the same. They're not the same team. I don't know. There's so many unknowns, and it is that bit where I think I said it in the intro about where boardrooms are just at that exploding point, and possibly just trying to ensure that they retain that Premier League money. It's all money, isn't it? It's just that it's not about the game. It's not about the style of football that your team are playing. It's about survival, and it's interest. It's interesting to see that those who press that button, we're looking at Newcastle, Norwich, Watford, Villa are 4 out of the bottom 5. And the only team that have remained loyal to the manager so far have been Burnley with Sean Dyche.
And they got a good result yesterday against Chelsea.
They did. And looked good value for that as well. I think it's really weird. I don't know. I'm really. I'm in that position where if
You've
you
got
are,
to have someone in mind.
it's a whole season. We're a whole season. It's only 11 games.
We're only in November. We're only in November. Hi, Stacey. Welcome in. Yeah, we're only in November. You know, it's like there's been 5 seconds already.
Yeah.
They've got to have someone in mind because they can't be
four out of the bottom. Put 4 out of the bottom 5.
Right. Give it a couple of weeks, and I think Ole will be gone as well. But it's like you've got to have someone in mind. So, you know, you've got to have. If they've sacked someone, they've got to have surely thought to themselves at the board, right? Is this person available? Yes. No. They've got to be available. You've got to be willing to come. Because why would you, if you're looking to maintain your Premier League status, get rid of a manager and then be managerless for the next amount of time? So they must have someone in mind. They'll have someone appointed, and they must be thinking January transfer, right? Get some players in January transfer as well. And that's what they must be thinking. They've got to be, because if they're not thinking that, they're suicidal.
Yeah.
You know, particularly Norwich, where they are. You know, they finally got the first win. You know, the roots at the bottom of the table. So we've got to have someone in mind and ready to appoint them and then give them the money. I don't see Nuno going to Norwich, but I see Nuno going to Villa. You know, I see them going there. Okay. Eddie Howe is going to Newcastle, so there's another manager that you haven't got on your list anymore.
Can I just...
Sam Allardyce now is available.
No, I feel that the whole Eddie Howe thing should have been really stitched up by now. And hopefully it will. But he did this with Celtic. He left Celtic hanging for weeks and weeks until he felt that he got a backroom staff that were promised a deal and this, that, and the other. And then at the 11th hour or whatever, far too, it's like the 99th hour, he pulled the plug and he just said, "Look, no, it's not happening." And he left Celtic hanging. And I certainly hope he doesn't do it in Newcastle. I know he was at the game. He was at the Newcastle game yesterday. He was there with Amanda Staveley. I hope he doesn't do it. I know there was problems with the lad who was his previous assistant at Bournemouth, and they were just trying to figure a deal out. And yeah, it will hopefully go through. And I'm just looking at the betting. I'm looking at the betting now. I've got this in front of me. This becomes quite hilarious when you start looking at the names. So, next permanent Norwich manager, Frank Lampard, Evans' favourite. Roy Hodgson, Steve Bruce, Russell Martin, Mark Robbins, who's at Coventry at the minute. If you fancy a bet, I'll tell you what, Mark Robbins used to play centre forward for him at 14-1. I actually think he'd be half decent. He'd be worth £1, wouldn't he? You know. But
it's going to be like Frank Lampard, Steve Bruce, someone like that. I think he's going to take that job.
Yeah.
You know, Frank Lampard's got experience of going down the Championship and working with Derby and that, and getting them to play.
But strangely, you look on the same list and you look at Villa's manager, Gerrard's odds on. John Terry 4-1. Fonseca, who previously was nailed on for the Newcastle job and then kind of overlooked and cast aside. And then you've got Graham Potter and then Frank Lampard.
Absolutely no chance. Graham Potter is not leaving Brighton for Villa or Norwich.
Why would you? Why would you do that?
He's building something, Graham. He's just starting to get his momentum with Brighton. Yeah. He ain't leaving there anytime soon. Especially if he's got the backing of the board, which he has. As long as he gets the support of the transfer windows, Graham Potter will stay at Brighton. But if he doesn't get the support, he will leave eventually.
As a little proviso for anyone watching this, right? Because we can talk about all kinds of stuff. When you look on a betting website, and Chris Wilder, who's just been appointed as Middlesbrough manager to succeed Neil Warnock today, and it must be one of those weekends. If Warnock's getting the sack, then it must be one of them weekends. Chris Wilder, who replaced him this morning, is still listed as 66-1 as the next Aston Villa manager. So it's just like somebody either hasn't updated the website or somebody's just like thinking this is not good. So it is all completely hat stand stuff. And Norwich manager Rafa Benitez 25-1. It's like
He ain't leaving Everton, and Everton aren't getting rid of Rafa. They're not getting rid of him. They know what they've got in Rafa, and they know with the backing him, they're going to do well with him.
I've got to say, Stephen, having watched, and I know we left the show last Sunday, and I was gloating in the fact that I didn't have to have a weekend of having watched Everton, and we were shocking on Monday against Wolves, absolutely appalling. But that is in player selection and in player performance. It's not about the manager, and yet from Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, there was like an undercurrent. It was just like, Rafa's not the right man. Let him go to Newcastle. And I'm like, why are we so short-sighted as fans?
Yeah, the problem you've got with Everton and Rafa is Rafa's a former Liverpool manager.
Yeah,
totally. So he was never welcome to begin with. So he only has to lose a game, and that's it. The fans up the back of him. He right on his back once to get rid of him, but that's not the right decision. And the board are clever. The board will stick by him. They give him a few windows. And Everton's one of them clubs where they will back the manager for a few windows. Give him a go.
Yay!
Hello, Avery. Yeah,
so say hi to John and Stephen.
Hello. How you doing, mate?
Stephen. We took a little trip to our local British shop this week, right?
Oh.
And thankfully, because I needed all of it today. I got my Maltesers, I got my Whispers, I got my little love parts, my fruit cocktails and everything. And he steals my walkers.
Oh no!
What are those?
What flavors you got? Salt and vinegar.
Yeah, they're pickled onions. These ones.
Oh, nice. Okay.
They didn't have the salt and vinegar, so it's like, yeah.
See, the thing is, though, Charlie, we can't get dill pickle crisps in the UK. Dill pickle crisps, no idea. Nobody eats them, but they're not the same as pickled onion. It's not the same. Dill pickle in the US is a reason for booking a plane ticket rather, and getting across there.
By.
Is he off? There you go.
He's gone.
Comes down, tell me he's eating my food.
Thanks, Dad. I'm scoffing more of it. That's good. I love that. At least he tells you. My kids don't. My kids just like, you go.
Yeah, he's very considerate.
Yeah. I've got some Maltesers stashed in the back of the cupboard. And then you go searching for them, and they're not there. Yeah. My eldest has been there before with his sweet tooth. I tell you, that's for sure.
The Maltesers, you got to try and lie on your back and blow it up and see how long you can keep it in the air. And let's get it to land in your mouth as it drops.
I'll choke on it.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, so we've done the managers. It's bizarre, isn't it? So let's go on. Can we just talk about VAR today?
You're going to go. Okay, let's go with it. Okay.
I'm going to go first to the Everton game. Right, it's got to be a clear and obvious mistake. Right, Nick's not in. I can't see Nick. It was a penalty that was given for Everton, and the keeper got the ball. But in real time play, you're thinking it's a penalty. It wasn't a clear and obvious mistake for me. But then you've got the Liverpool game. First off, the first goal should never have stood, in my opinion, because the player's stopping Alisson from moving his arm. And then, John's like that, and it is subjective. But I'm like,
you could see them doing it to Alisson all game, though.
Yeah,
they put the Antonio, the big strong tank, right? He's bugging Alisson. He's right in his face. It's annoying. I'm surprised they didn't put a player on him to keep him away from Alisson. That's what they should have did.
Yeah. And how that wasn't a red card is beyond me, because if you look at the red card in the Everton game, so I think it was Holgate. He's got the ball. He's followed through. He's got on the back of the leg, and he's gone dangerous play. Right, okay, that's a red card. The West Ham players come in. He's off the floor. His 2 feet are off the floor. Okay, he touched the ball, and some people can argue that his foot has bounced up because of the ball, right? But his 2 feet are off the ground.
Was that the one on Henderson?
This one, John. I'm going to put it up now.
Oh.
Yeah, Hendo.
No, oh goodness.
Yeah, that's up on the knee.
But
He's
yeah,
he's not in control here. He's not in control of what he's doing. He's gone right through the guy, you know, and he's too high.
That was really intriguing, that Stephen, because actually having watched the Everton game, as you do, from a different source, that because it wasn't live in this country, but having actually seen the Holgate tackle, and I would say that VAR actually got that right, and Holgate actually went way above the ball. He didn't play the ball in any way, shape, or form, and he took the man. I actually felt that was a red card. This one, when you actually look at it, the West Ham lad's leg, he played the ball, but his foot bounced off the top of the ball, and it was intriguing, because for me, when you look at it in real time, it looked really nasty, and I think Henderson went down thinking that he got done, and from then on, once he watched it after VAR, I think West Ham got a goal kick after it, and so there was nothing as a repercussion for the challenge, and I felt that I actually felt that was less of anything that certainly Mason Holgate had done. Charlie's eating Maltesers. I love Maltesers, Charlie. I tell you, I'm going to send you all.
The ball's made his foot bounce up, but if you actually put it back up again, you can actually see he's not in control of what he's doing. He's up in the air. He's got his feet showing. It's not right, mate. It can't be going. What I'd like is consistency, because for me, I thought that was probably worse than Holgate's one, because Holgate's cleared the ball. He's kicked the ball, he's cleared the ball, and his follow-through's gone up and hit the guy in the back of the leg.
I think when you look, and this probably goes back to your consistency bit, if you look at it as a still frame, it looks worse than it actually was.
I get that.
But when you look at it as a roll through slow-mo, and look at the actual degree of touch and I'll have a dig at you guys as well tonight, because I think Liverpool players fell to the floor a hell of a lot easier than I've seen them for a long time. I really do. And
after seeing the replay, especially in slow motion, I wasn't angry about the Henderson call. Again, you could see kind of the ball. His foot did reflect off the ball, and I understand what Steven's saying. It's still reckless, but I didn't think it was a red card. I was expecting a yellow, though, but
and you didn't get a free kick for that, but then you got a free kick for the Alexander-Arnold goal from just outside the box, where Salah was at best breathed upon. I don't actually think anybody made contact with Salah, and it was just one of them ones. You win it because you actually run between two opposing players, and you just sort of make that attempt. And I don't know. Sarah, I'd actually agree with that. I was surprised later on in the game, because I actually felt that Liverpool were going to get something sort of quite special towards the end, and the ref sort of shrugged it off. I've got to say, I thought Liverpool got away with a few today. And again, their goal, Alexander-Arnold's free kick, was beautiful, a wonderful free kick from somebody who's in my fantasy football team. I've got to say, it was. I just felt those points ka-chinging in the bank as it went in, but I still felt, and it was a Salah assist as well, because he played it onto him. But I still felt it was a bit. It wasn't worthy of it. Jota, another one, fell over when nobody was around him and got a free kick. There was a few of them today, and I've not seen that from Liverpool for a while. And you could that perhaps tell you how well.
I know you're coming from with the Salah free kick, with the free kick that we scored from. But there was two players that come on him. Do you know what I mean? He's dragged away. The two players come on him. Yeah, okay, he's gone down a bit easy, but at the same time,
he saw his own left heel, flicked over it, and then just went down. It was just like, it was one of them, Stephen. It's just like, fine well, it doesn't matter. You're always going to get it, even with VAR. You're always going to get it. And I actually felt over, and I said I'm going to be subjective tonight. I said it earlier in the show. I actually felt West Ham were really superb tonight.
West Ham, I don't want to take anything away from West Ham.
Brilliant. They were absolutely brilliant.
We couldn't break them down. We found it really hard to break them down.
Yeah. They seemed hungrier tonight too. It's hard when we had a game Wednesday and we have a game tonight. We weren't able to fully prepare for the upcoming game, but West Ham was quicker. Something I was saying throughout the whole game, Fabinho looked like a step too slow tonight. Whenever he got the ball, they were on top of him. They were taking the ball away from him a lot tonight. Mane looked like he kept on giving the ball away, and then he's back to his missing the net by 2 feet or a foot. That again.
That was unlucky. That was the chance of the game.
That was low. It was hard. When that's coming in, when the ball's coming in just over the other player's head, and then you have to go that low. I can understand how he missed, but still,
also on my subjective.
Target for me.
Also on my subjective tilt tonight. West Ham played on Thursday. So Liverpool played Wednesday. West Ham played Thursday against Genk in the Europa League.
And against who? Oh, Genk.
Genk, yeah. So
I just want to add a bonus in there, Charlie, because it's not all gloom, because in the midweek on Wednesday, we've guaranteed winning the draw of the group of death in the Champions League. So we can now stick the reserves out, the under-18s out in the last 2 games. And we don't have to worry about that. We're not playing 2 games in a row now. Yeah. We can do that. Our next game is Arsenal at home after the international break. So we need to go out and get back into the rhythm and beat them.
But games like today definitely exposed Liverpool's underside once in a while. It's like it shows that maybe their backups aren't strong enough, or maybe Klopp should be mixing it up a little bit more. Sometimes it's like, okay, you have a front 3 with Mane, Firmino, and Salah doing so well sometimes, but sometimes letting you down, and maybe there should be a rotation in there with the more hungry guys like Minamino. It's like he should have you see him. There was one goal that I think there was one play that I thought West Ham was building up for a goal, and you see Minamino run all the way back. He sprinted his butt off, and he actually got the ball back for Liverpool. And I was like, that's what you need the hungry guys to do. You need those runners that will come back all the way from the 4 position, come all the way back, basically run by Arnold because he's so tired, or because Arnold's out of space, out of his place again.
Yeah,
Arnold was so far up the field again today. He was getting caught off, and you don't want to leave Antonio down the left wing, running by up against Matip.
Yeah.
I think Matip was another mistake, a choice mistake today. He was, I don't know if he was too slow, too tired. I don't know. He was out of sorts today as well. They should have played the new guy who seems to be faster.
Yeah,
Konate, yeah. And but West Ham did play well. I think they were hungry. They were fast. I didn't realize they played Thursday, but they sure as heck looked less tired than Liverpool did today.
They were hungry. West Ham were hungrier than us today. And that's the thing. What Liverpool need to do is get back to the way they were when they won the title. Is you remember that these teams, when you go and play, when these teams are playing Liverpool, they're turning up. They're playing their FA Cup final. They're playing the cup final on that day. That's what they're doing. You know what I mean? Not because at the end of the day, they want to beat the likes of Liverpool, City, and Chelsea. That's what they're for, to get beat. You want to play against us. I know John's smiling, but that's what they do. That's what they do. We just need to get back to it. And I'm going to go back to what you just said there about Trent, about being up so far up. Those times today, I thought he was playing in midfield. Yeah. I thought, is he playing in midfield? Because he was always in the centre. He wasn't towards the right where he normally is. I'm thinking,
if you go back and look at Zuma's goal, I think Trent went missing, and I actually feel that's where Moyes had spotted something, and going from the Alisson mistake I honestly don't feel that Ogbonna got anything on Alisson in the first West Ham goal. I just felt it was a decent cross. You're having the defender coming in, the keeper. It was I was expecting Alisson to just deal with that, either punch it or do something with it.
He can't punch it if someone's got all. If someone puts his arms and stops the move.
I don't know. But
that's definitely a free kick for me. That.
Yeah, but Moyes did it. Moyes had sent them out to do it more than once. And if you look at the West Ham players' reactions after they'd scored, certainly the first goal and certainly after Zuma's goal, they looked back towards the bench and they were giving it a celebration towards the bench. They've been coached this week of how they could put Liverpool under pressure from set pieces, and it was very much a Moyes masterclass, and I very much admire what he actually did, because he set the team up so well, and I think a lot of West Ham fans will be looking at that and thinking we've given him flack over the years. Moyes has been really badly treated, and we'll move that on again in a minute. But Moyes actually set his team up today. He did a job. He did a job on Liverpool.
I showed them. I showed them respect in. I had the foresight to take Alisson. I put Alisson on the bench. I actually put him on the bench this week. I said something's coming up. I put Alisson on the bench, who got negative points this week, so he's on my bench. So that can count against me. I took Schmeichel instead. Schmeichel got me 3 points. Okay. That was good. Yeah. I subbed Kane out. I subbed the injured guy, Bamford. He's gone. They're transferred. They're gone. I brought in Antonio, and I brought in Vardy this week. So Antonio, he didn't score today, but he at least did something. But I knew West Ham. I thought West Ham was going to give us trouble this week. So that's what I said.
I'm with you on that, Charlie. Through this week, I've been thinking this is probably Liverpool's first defeat of the season. Because there's just something about West Ham at the minute. They're really fine. They're at home as well. They're doing well. Liverpool just midfield look found wanting against Brighton.
I just hope that West Ham also brings it when they play Chelsea and City. You know, don't be laying down to them and then costing us points.
Charlie, to be honest, I actually think they will be the same team playing City and playing Chelsea.
I
think they're going to cause more problems, because going back to when Moyes was at Everton, what he didn't have was sort of players on the bench to come in and just reaffirm that sort of strength in depth. We were always probably about 2 or 3 players short because of the finances of the club, and what he's actually got at West Ham at the minute, I think there's a lad that played at right back who's come in as a young lad. Was it Ben Johnson? And his keeping was it Kufal out, who got injured, but he can't get back in the team. You're talking about players who are like experienced pros. It's brilliant, and I'm thinking this is they've got young players. Declan Rice today was absolutely superb, and when I was watching the game, I actually found myself just dragged in, as I've done sort of with a couple of other games recently with them. I pick out a player and just try to follow what they're doing whilst you're watching the game. And Rice is actually a player that I can think of 3 or 4 clubs in the Premier League are absolutely desperate for. He creates space, he creates time, he creates that element of calm for the rest of the team. So you give him the ball, and he's in a load of space, but he doesn't hoof it. He just suddenly sits there. He picks out what's best. He's not afraid of going back to the goalkeeper, and he's allowing your team to reorganize and to rejuvenate your shape, and then you move forward as a team. And it was fascinating to look at. I've not really sort of understood what role Rice has in that team, and he's fast becoming. He's becoming one of my players that I think, even looking towards next weekend, looking for England. But I feel he's a player that's got that Jordan Henderson look about him. You know, he will sit in front of your back four. He will stop your back four from becoming stressed, and stop them from becoming under pressure. Just Stephen, I'm going back to. I'm going to go back. I'm aware of time. And I've got loads. I want to talk about still. But going back to, you started talking about VAR and the whole of this segment, and you mentioned about Richarlison's penalty for Everton. Now, VAR is meant to go back and correct clear and obvious errors. Now, in Richarlison's case today, it did, because the goalkeeper got a hand on it. However, if the play had been allowed to play out, which is as happens in many other sports, and as happens with the new offside ruling, the referee would not have blown his whistle until the end of the play. He blew his whistle to say penalty. However, Richarlison knew it wasn't a penalty. He got up, which is a minor miracle for Richarlison. But he got up, he won the ball back again. So it didn't. So we could have got a corner. We could have got a corner because if it wasn't a penalty, then it would have gone out of play for a corner. The referee blew his whistle. Richarlison then had the ball. He turned around 180 degrees. He had the opportunity of a shot on goal, and you'll need to go back and watch this. Anybody who's not seen it, he had an opportunity where he could have had a shot on goal, where a goalkeeper was still lying on the floor, and the play had ended. Yeah, because the referee had blown his whistle. When the VAR check was over, Tottenham got the ball back.
Yeah, so for me, John, the thing with me is, yes, when they gone and checked it and they gone and seen that he's touched the ball, to the left of the ball, it's not a penalty. It's definitely not a penalty.
Yeah.
But it's got to be clear and obvious.
Totally agree with that.
It's got to be clear and obvious. The mistake has got to be clear and obvious. So for me, the mistake wasn't clear and obvious because it was the slightest and most minimal of touches that the keeper got. So for me, VAR needs to have a check with itself.
But then was it a case that you didn't get the penalty because it was Richarlison, and everybody knows Richarlison does go down a little bit too easy for everybody's liking.
He does, but in that instance, I don't think anyone watching. I watched that game, and I don't think anyone watching it in normal speed would have said that's not a penalty, and he didn't get hold of the player because he did. He got hold.
Yeah.
And again, where you're coming from, if he was allowed to play on, he could have got the goal. Then he could have gone back and checked it. But
and that's me. I wasn't aware of that until I actually had a conversation with my eldest son, and like I've said before, he is a referee. He looks at stuff like this because it's part of his learning stuff, and he also feels mightily embittered because he's an Evertonian and has been from birth, and he might only be 18, but he's learning fast that we always seem to get done over. But it's one of them ones. But in the rules, this is a little grey area, which for the first time today I'm actually being alerted to, because it's like I say, it's like the offside one as to when you blow the whistle or when you raise the flag. So when do you actually blow the whistle for a penalty call, but not allow the whole run of play to carry on? And I'm fascinated to see what I'd love to see, because it wasn't the game that was covered on UK telly today. I want to see what other pundits actually come back and say about that whole process of football. It's a fascinating one because it's a new grey area, which is not what you want with VAR.
I didn't notice that, you know what I mean, on that, because that's a good shout of VAR. When does it kick in and stuff like that? It won't kick in for an offside, even if someone's blatantly 6 or 7 yards offside. He won't even do it. Let it play out. But my issue with VAR is just the inconsistency, and what is clear and obvious. What do they define as clear and obvious? Because for me, it's very subjective to say clear and obvious. So my opinion was that's not clear and obvious. We shouldn't have been getting involved. Also, I know you disagree with the decisions on the Liverpool game. I'm going to stick by my guns and say that was a free kick and that was a red card, and he got it wrong. He just got it blatantly wrong. But again, it's subjective because you got the foot bouncing off the ball. and coming up. And then I look at the Holgate one. I don't see any real difference between Holgate kicking the ball and clearing it away and his foot following through and going into the back of someone, as the guy on, is he Cresswell? On Henderson. He's gone and kicked the ball, but he's not in control. He's completely not in control. He's in the air. He's going through a man. It's just, for me, it's not right. It was just inconsistent, and I just need to just get it off my chest, because VAR just come back with a bang today. And we've been praising VAR this season because it's been doing well.
Except last week, when he completely messed up three different decisions and gave 3 separate things. And I think they've got better this week. But I can see where you're coming from. But what I would still love is the fact that, this is football. This is a game that we all love, and I think what we would hate to happen would be for that whole bit that I've had throughout all of my years as a football fan. You still find that there's contentious issues, and you'd still love to debate it. And I think what people were expecting was it to become very clinical. And VAR hasn't made it as clinical as anything. I was watching American football last weekend, and I know we keep alluding to this, but they've been such great ground breakers in the use of TV technology, and what's happened is, that use of the screen to dictate what happens on the play, but it takes a long time, and some of the reactions of certainly one or two decisions over the weekend, it's taken too long. So if it takes too long, then it's not clear and obvious. And I think that goes back to your point, Steve, as well.
That's it. Yeah. I just want to bring in a little bit of a pun here, because last week VAR had a bit of a nightmare. It was Halloween. It's bonfire night. It's Guy Fawkes. It's bonfire night this weekend over in the UK, Charlie. And it's come back with a bang. It's exploded. Fireworks are cracking.
It's a week. Yeah, for anyone in the US watching, it's a weekend where we celebrate. Way back when Guy Fawkes didn't manage to blow up the Houses of Parliament.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'll leave it there. I'm on the side of the guy. I think he should have succeeded.
Yeah, well, I must admit, I'm living in Yorkshire, and he was a Yorkshireman, and there is a great groundswell, particularly in the city of York. And
I'm just wondering what Sarah's getting at here, because who's am I missing something, or is it
Sarah?
Time after my time. Who the hell is Daddy Macaulay?
Yeah, I don't know.
Daddy Macaulay. Oh,
Macaulay.
God, Sarah, do explain.
Explain.
God, do explain.
You got 3 fellas here who were born before 1985 here. So come on, explain. Yeah, no. Yeah, that's my rant on VAR anyway, because I just
I don't understand that.
This week, and it's just ridiculous. Let's talk about something else. We've almost managers getting sacked. Let's talk about a manager that is constantly being told to get sacked in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He lost the Manchester derby yesterday.
Yeah.
I thought in spectacular fashion. I mean, City didn't put 5 past them like Liverpool, but they still put them. Referee from Wednesday night against Liverpool like that to go. Yeah, he was a good referee. Yeah, he was good.
He's the lad from Holland, isn't he?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you wouldn't have seen that, Charlie. He had a good game, to be honest with the referee on Wednesday, I thought.
I actually did. I got to watch that.
Did you? Yeah.
I got Stacy to as part of my birthday present. She got me the wire service thing, or the streaming for I can watch all the Champions League games now. So I got to watch that Wednesday, and I was like, "Yay!"
Yeah, happy birthday, Charlie! It was your birthday. Happy birthday!
Thank you. Yeah, it was last week, but
yeah, I was able to get. You kept that quiet, man. Flipping heck, we could have got it down on the socials, couldn't we? Like, it's Charlie's birthday. Charlie's birthday. Come and join us on Sunday to wish him happy birthday. But hey, Charlie keeps it quiet. There we go. Happy birthday, mate.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good game Wednesday, and again, that ref, I thought he was good, but I think we had 2 games against that team in a row, and they got two red cards, and
Yeah.
See, that was a mad red card. That was funny, that one, wasn't it? He said, "Come here, no, come here, no, come here, no."
Fine.
I love
like,
that.
how can they just not just ignore him? He's not going to get the card.
Can I just give a little bit of background? Can I give a bit of background for anyone listening who's not a Liverpool fan? This is the Liverpool Atletico Madrid game on Wednesday in the Champions League. The referee was outstanding. He really was outstanding, and not because he favoured Liverpool, not because he favoured Madrid. He actually reffed the game so strongly. He didn't take any of that really underhanded sort of undermining thing that I know Atletico set themselves up to do. Purely from the fact that their manager's just superb. I love Diego Simeone. I just think he was a fabulous football player. He would kick your backside all over the football pitch and not get booked, and then still come off complaining to the ref. But he sets his team up so well, and what he tried to do a job against Liverpool, and the ref was having nothing of it. And you don't often see that in Europe, and I just thought that was superb, and I really do feel he's setting his stall out to get the Champions League final because he was that good.
I think so. I think he's getting it. He was really good.
But and when you see a decent referee at that level, when you say poor referee, you know about it. When you say a good referee, we need to celebrate it. We need to celebrate it so much more. And he was absolutely outstanding. And I think a lot of people need to look back and see how he managed to. He remained completely in control of that game, and didn't allow players to influence his decisions or influence the game. I respect where it's due.
Yeah, because in those types of games, especially the way they were playing, people get hurt if you don't have a referee that's gonna be tough enough. And I was happy that he was so strict because you just thought people were gonna start getting hurt because it's just the way that they play sometimes.
Yeah. Well, you knew as soon as they got the red card, they were going to try and level it up. So they targeted Mane quite a lot.
Yeah. And I was like, you know what they're doing. You're just watching TV saying, no, you're not going to get our guy get a red card just because you guys are idiots. It's just
right. Tell you what, guys, I'm gonna level this up because I'm actually going to make this back into the Sunday night football therapy show rather than talk about Liverpool on Wednesday night. So see what I did there. I want to do something about. I know we're talking about United. We're talking about Ole, right? And I think what we've missed in the past few weeks is actually the recognition. City had a diabolical game last week against Palace. They came back yesterday, and City were just absolutely immense.
Yeah,
they absolutely controlled an entire game at Old Trafford, where you were expecting United to do what they've probably done in the past 3 or 4 seasons. When it's time to turn up, lads, and they do. And yet, yesterday, Pep actually, I take my hat off to him because he normally bottles it and he normally fiddles about with his squad rotation and messes it up. City were brilliant yesterday. I watched the whole game and I just was watching a team that were toying with Man United in their own patch. And I think you said it before, the Liverpool game probably 5-0 really just didn't quite do it. 2-0 yesterday was a bit like it could have been 8, 9, 10. It was the proverbial men against boys type stuff. It was City just bossed the entire 90 minutes, and I take my hat off to them because they really were. it was a footballing masterclass. It was lovely to watch.
It shows you that when you have 11 guys on the field, right? If you have a team that has 4 or 5 mediocre players instead of all 11 being, what a huge difference that makes.
Yeah,
and Man United they aren't at the level. They aren't at the level that they need to be in the top 4. I don't think so.
We've mentioned it when they got beat by 5-0 by Liverpool. They're not a team; they're a bunch of individuals. I think the 2 home games that they've had with Liverpool and Manchester City, it's just shown exactly the gulf and difference between the class of where the top 3 teams are and Man United and where they need to get to. They're just massively behind. Even with the change of manager, it's still going to take them a while to get up to that level.
But where do you go to for a next manager? That's my bit with United. I really don't know. Because the CEO was Ed Woodward. Edward Woodward. Who's just like, which is a mouthful at the best of times, isn't it? But he's meant to be finishing at the end of the year. So is that stopping them from actually moving on as a club? Because he's going. So what does he do? Does he sack the manager before he goes? Or sorry, can you hear that? I think Orlando have scored. My kids are watching the game in the next room. Do you sack the manager, or do you wait until new CEO turns up, and then he comes in with the first job is sack the manager? And I think for United, this is a conundrum, but it's where you look back to where your owners are at, and I honestly don't know. I think they've got enough talent there. I'm looking at players that look completely lost, and I'm looking at former players, and I would mention Gary Neville, Roy Keane, Rio Ferdinand, who are all pundits in the UK, who are just picking off different bits about the club that are not quite right. Even though a former teammate is manager, you know, I fear for where United are at, because you sack Ole, and you're back in the same position where they were prior to Mourinho turning up, or prior to Louis van Gaal turning up, and even to an extent, I know I've said it before, what would have happened if they've actually just invested a bit of time, a little bit of money, and David Moyes had been given more time, like Ferguson had, to rebuild a club from within and try to rebuild a squad, and not squander. They squandered so much money, and I look at Paul Pogba, and I'm sorry, I hate saying this week after week, but Pogba, for me, I would, if he played for Everton, I would love to see him just not in the squad.
Yeah.
He's a toxic figure within that whole.
He's lazy. He doesn't work hard enough. But it's funny the manager there, John, is, there's the rumours coming out now that Conte, the reason Conte took so long to take the Tottenham job is because he was old enough for United. It just goes to show that if that's true, if that rumour's true, because obviously it's a rumour until proven right. But if that's right, then it just goes to all it says to me is that Man United aren't looking at changing the manager anytime soon. They're looking.
But didn't Conte? He's just signed on till next year, right? Till next year, so maybe he's still looking long term to.
I'm not sure. I think Stephen, you're right. Charlie, I can understand where you're thinking, but I think if you've got your fingerprints over Chelsea, you got your fingerprints all over Spurs. I think Conte now would be kind of in a position where he's not employable within the UK, because he's in a position where he knows too much about what happens at Chelsea and too much about what happens at Spurs. United, I don't know where United go to. That's my biggest fear. What do you change? It's not going to. No, it couldn't happen, could it?
Yeah, Steve Bruce is available. He's a former player as well. They support the former players. Get Steve Bruce in. I know a few.
Can you imagine? Oh, there we go. That's the answer.
Steve Bruce, Man United.
Steve Bruce, United relegated.
I'm happy for Ole to stay. You know, he's doing a great job as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Fantastic job. He's doing a brilliant job. You know,
give him time. Give him time.
Yeah.
Give him 5 more years. He'll do fine.
Yeah, no, I don't know where United go, to be honest with you, John, after that.
No.
Newcastle, though, Newcastle appointing Eddie Howe. I know you said he hasn't gone yet, but I was thinking, would they go to someone a bit more high profile? I thought they might have gone for a Conte. You know what I mean? But Conte said no.
They can't, no. I think I said this, about 2 shows ago, and they'd just been taken over, and I had a wonderful conversation on the radio I heard, and someone on there, they were talking about it needs to be developmental, it needs to be slow, it needs to be someone who comes in now that will keep them up. Yeah. Then they need to reinvent again. Then perhaps in about 3 or 4 years' time, if that person has taken them to the next level, maybe that's just, in Newcastle's case, that's like a top 10 finish over 2 seasons. Then you look at someone trying to get you in the Champions League. You can't just chuck money at it. And I think Newcastle, Eddie Howe's actually probably, of the list of managers that are available at the minute, he's probably the best one to try to do that. And if they get relegated, he's also the person who would get them back up quite quickly. If you spend loads of money on a big name manager, even a Conte going in there, you put him in the Championship and he's got like three games in every 9 days or whatever they play. You know, it's Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, this and the other. I don't think he would have that opportunity, that bounce back opportunity. I don't know. It's just
good point.
And I think we said last week. I still think Big Sam would have been a really good fit for Newcastle.
Well, they need someone to save them from relegation. You know, and they've only got one transfer window between now and the end of the season.
Yeah.
You know, so, and it's like, it's one of them. Even when it comes to January, what players are going to want to go there? Because the threat of relegation is so real. So real, you know?
Yeah, but I know we talked about Villa earlier in the show. You look at the structure that they previously had there with the coaching structure. But looking at Newcastle, you've got like Graham Jones, who's currently managing the team, but he's a coach first and foremost. And actually, he's done a half-decent job. He actually avoided getting beat at Brighton. And I felt Newcastle have had a really good weekend this weekend, just as Burnley have. Burnley got a point at Chelsea. Chelsea, I think played the. We'll just turn up. We'll turn up. Go through the emotions and see what happens. And I think the only game we've not mentioned, and again, and I think I did say it last week, I do eat humble pie because I felt that Palace were going to struggle. But Patrick Vieira has started to organise his Palace team absolutely amazingly. And I again, just to mention within the course of the show, I know within the confines of an hour, we can't talk about in depth about every game, but Palace to win 2-0 at home against Wolves this weekend has been superb. And equally, we have slagged off Arsenal in the past. Another 3 points for Arsenal, which has transformed their season. They're now 5th, 2 points behind Liverpool in the table.
And this is where Liverpool
we have them in 2 weeks too.
Yeah, this is where Liverpool be careful because if you actually look at the form, Liverpool have only won 2 of the last 6 games. They've lost 1 and drew 3. And Arsenal have won. I don't know how many of Arsenal have won. 4 of the last 6. In fact, they've won the last 3. So Liverpool need to be careful and get back into the groove. It was great. We did a great role. We beat United 5-0. And for some reason, we drew 1 and lost. And the 2 games after that, we drew and lost. So we need to get back into momentum. And For me, after the Brighton game, I've put like a holder midfielder on my wish list, my Christmas wish list for January, along with an attacker, because I think when the front three are not starting, it's not the quality drops. Jota's so much better coming off the bench than starting. I prefer Jota as an impact player rather than someone starting.
Well, we got the Elliott coming back soon, right?
Yeah,
hopefully.
But he's an attacking midfielder, isn't he? For an attacking midfielder, I think we've got plenty of. It's the holding midfielder. So when Fabinho's not in the team or not playing as well as he should be doing, I think we lose a bit.
This is therapy, guys, isn't it? This is why we do this show.
It's going back to Liverpool.
I'm gonna keep us. I'm gonna keep us on track. All I'm gonna say is there's a wonderful quote from Mikel Arteta tonight, and he was interviewed after the game today, and I think Ranieri had a go at him because Arsenal didn't give them the ball back after they played the ball out because someone had a bad back, and he hadn't. So Arsenal kept the ball. So Ranieri turned around and said, they lacked respect. But actually, all that Arteta's come out after the game is just, and this resonated with me because you look at some of these guys who are doing the job as a footballing manager, and the pressure that Arteta's been under earlier in the season, and the fact that he's on the back of a decent run, but he turned around and says, "I'm just a baby in management." And I thought, people need to just actually understand that, he's only been a manager for like 5 minutes, really, hasn't he? And it'd have been dead easy for Arsenal to just turn around and press that panic button. I know we've talked about this repeatedly. So what do Arsenal do? They keep hold of him. They keep faith with him. They're now in 5th. There's got to be something said with that. And it's been a fascinating weekend, and I hate seeing managers getting sacked. I really do. I feel it's completely futile when you're down in that bottom part of the league.
Especially if there's no contingency planning put in place, so you get rid of your manager and you just don't know where you're going to go. As long as you've got someone lined up, that's fine. But it's when people sack managers and then go, right now, what do we do? Well, that's just silly. Keep hold of your manager and then look for his replacements and then move on from there. Anyway, guys, that's an hour and 10 minutes nearly, so we'll wrap it up at that. It's been great again. Thanks for watching. Thanks for getting involved in the chat there, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Not next week.
And for people watching on the replay,
Charlie saying
we know you are.
That's a good idea.
Anyway, see you in 2 weeks.
International break next week. Enjoy the silence.
I'm off to paint benches and watch them dry as well as what the grass grow. But I'm certainly not watching that international football. See you in 2 weeks.
No way. Cheers, guys.